right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
Hi, this is Ron Sedgy, inviting you to join me for The Tonight Show of Radio every Saturday night, 9 to 11 Pacific Standard Time on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Now in our 24th year and well over 19,000 guests, The Ron Sedgy Show live originates from our Universal Radio studios. Celebrities from TV, music, movies, literature, politics, and show business, at one time or another, they all come to The Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Warren, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show, and welcome to our co-host Ken Jeffries. How you be today?
Hello there.
And
good evening, Toys R Us shoppers.
Oh, let's not beat up on poor
Poor dead Toys R Us.
And our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes.
I'm back.
He's back. Missed a couple of shows.
I fought the law, and the law won for the last 14 straight days.
Connor's been very busy. He's a lawyer with the firm of Lewis Brisbois, and fortunately, they got a lot of work to keep Connor busy.
Yeah, fortunate, for sure, fortunate.
So we're back at full strength, guys. This is exciting.
It's like a hockey team after the penalty is over. You know, they've got the guys out of the penalty box.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't that weird, the way they take the goalie out, and if you can just send it the length of the court, that's pretty scary. So a couple of big stories. Well, maybe this is a fat-shaming thing. Roseanne is a big story.
Brutal.
Another I Love Lucy, This is Roseanne 2.0. And another 2.0 was a hot story this week, the Cosby trial. Bill Cosby, hung jury several months ago. The Pennsylvania jurors just couldn't make up their mind, but the balloon lifted this week, and so Bill Cosby is on trial once again. We're going to get into those stories and other big topics, but of course we have our two favorite features, a hot tub time machine. We like to have sound bites from the past. We've got a recording of Socrates chatting it up with Plato.
Right.
And we've got probably the most famous political speech in human history. That's the subject of our hot tub time machine at the end of the show today. The other feature we love is Moron of the Week. So we have two Moron of the Week candidates every week at the top and bottom of the show. We vote on them at the end. And double bonus today, guys. Near the end of the quarter now, we just finished up the first quarter. We're going to vote on the Moron of the quarter.
I'm excited.
Well. But first...
pretty soon this will become like the March Madness, the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, we need a bracket.
We need a bracket.
64 teams.
We got to do that. So our first candidate for Moron of the Week is the Starbucks Fat Shamer. I don't know if you heard about this story. A young woman, Vega Blossom, was at her Starbucks in Valparaiso, Indiana, and she's in line, and she overhears a guy behind her say, "Let's hope this fat B word doesn't buy all the cupcakes."
Oh,
whoa! Yeah. So Vega is, is a little bit overweight. She makes no bones about that, but she was very distressed. She felt like crumbling when she heard the vicious remark.
What a jerk!
Wait, is that a cupcake joke?
Well, here's the happy ending. She decided she would buy every freaking cupcake in the store.
Nice.
And she did. It was something like 20 of them. She spends $54. So all the fat shamers behind her, including the person who made this comment, they were out of luck. They couldn't eat any cupcakes.
They got their just desserts, or rather didn't.
Very good.
Just desserts.
This on Facebook racked up 66,000 likes, 23,000 shares. She says, growing up a chubbier girl, I always got snide comments about my weight from people who for some reason think it's their business. So she's kind of a hero, and the person who made the remark is our candidate number one.
I get 66,000 likes on every selfie I put up, so that's no big deal. Whatever.
Right. All right, so top story, Roseanne, 18.2 million people watched her. It was a big shock.
More on DVR.
Yeah.
It came up to
Good
like 22,
point.
23 million more than that.
Delayed watching bumped it up to over 20 million. So that was week one. Now, this past week was week two. Dipped a little bit. I guess they expected that. I think it was down to 14 or 15 million, but then it was going to go up higher. So what do you think, guys? Flash in the pan? I mean...
Can I submit Roseanne as the moron of the year or possibly decade?
You may.
I am enraged by the idea that studio executives will crack down on the tiniest misstep by an actor, producer, director, and this and take away their show when the show's great and the person's talented.
You're not thinking of Kevin Spacey here.
Oh, God, okay. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I'm not trying to...
Well, you said tiniest misstep.
I'm talking about actual tiny missteps and mistakes. And yet Roseanne Barr, despite everything she's ever done and how now she has turned into some bizarre alt-right Twitter nut job wacko who retweets conspiracy theories about like Democratic-run pedophile rings that Trump is busting, like he's flying around the earth like Captain America,
I saw that
beating
too,
up pimps and
sounds like the
throwing people in
McMartin allegations
bondage.
from the 90s.
Exactly, it's so insane, and yet she retweets this. Oh yeah, great job on she tweets it herself. Didn't even read, just she crafted this tweet herself.
Right.
Great job, Trump, for saving all these people out of sexual slavery. What?
Connor,
where does she get that from?
She got it from some conspiracy theorist, forum that she follows. She also responded to a tweet by a nut job conspiracy theorist who was saying that the Florida high school shooting was a false flag attack and that these poor victims, these kids, are actually crisis actors.
Well, what did she say about it?
She just responds. Somebody says David Hogg is a crisis actor. She responds, Nazi salute.
But
like
Connor,
she's
don't we have a
Nazi salute?
tradition in this country of overlooking entertainment folks' foibles? I mean, look at the Michael Jackson situation. People still buy Thriller. Boy, those are real toe tappers.
Yeah.
His music catalog, and I think everybody pretty much knows he was a pedophile.
You're right, and this goes, I think, straight into your constant, anger at the idea of celebrity worship. You're constantly on that train, and you're absolutely right. Is we give these people so much leeway and so much of the benefit of the doubt that they do not deserve.
The Jenny McCarthy anti-vaccine thing.
Exactly, that we give them so much credence. We think that they're experts in their field just because they can play somebody on TV. Hell, she doesn't even play an expert on TV. I mean, if she played a doctor on TV, if it was Neil Patrick Harris, and you're like, oh yeah, I loved him as a 12-year-old doctor, I'm going to take real medical advice from him, then you're dumb. But at least I can see the logic where you went from I'm dumb to this is my bad dumb decision. Instead, you're listening to Roseanne Barr for politics advice. On her show, she doesn't know anything.
Well, you may be mildly perturbed about the Roseanne deal, but I'm going to predict. What do you think, Ken Jeffries? More shows that are Trump-oriented, blue-collar, bring back Green Acres?
No, I'm not going to say they're Trump-oriented because I don't know. But what I think we might see is a return to the realistic shows of the 70s, All in a Family. I wouldn't mind seeing a reboot of that, except who would play Archie Bunker, would be kind of a... But these are the networks now going back to the well. We've seen this before. The reboot of Hawaii Five-0 is doing relatively well on CBS.
I see Paul Rubens is playing the Archie Bunker character.
For sure.
He's that kind of versatility, I think.
Paul Rubens.
Yes, Ken, that was a joke.
Sorry.
The essence of humor often is something that's unexpected.
You know what?
It doesn't make...
that was the point. It didn't make sense. So don't worry about it.
At my age, whenever I understand anything now, it's a miracle.
No, you're right. I think we're going to see more All in the Family.
Paul Rubens.
I mean, let's face it, guys. Networks love money.
Well, but here's
and 18 million equals money.
Full House went back to on cable now? It's Fuller House.
Yep.
This other stuff. Roseanne's coming back.
Right.
Imitation is the sincerest form of television, is what I said last week. The old Fred Allen quote. And so I think we'll see some of that coming back. Except this case, if you do bring back a show like All in a Family, and whoever plays Archie Bunker, will he really be the hero in this political climate this time?
Yeah,
instead of someone to be laughed at.
It's kind of the same thing with Roseanne Barr. I mean, is she the blue collar everyman American, or is she kind of the villain in a lot of viewers' minds? And I think as the show goes on and people, if there's any audience for it at all moving forward that is outside the group that identifies themselves as Roseanne Barr, that audience is probably going to see her as a deeply flawed character, when this actress and these writers probably don't see themselves as deeply flawed. They had that weird line in the episode where Roseanne and Goodman fall asleep on the couch, and they wake up and they say something along the lines of, "Oh, we slept through everything from Wheel of Fortune to whatever," and that gap covers Blackish and Fresh Off the Boat, the minority identified sitcoms.
You think this was veiled racism?
Well, they wake up. Oh, wait, I slept through it, and Goodman says, "Oh, we missed out. What are we going to miss?" And Roseanne says, "They're just like us. I caught you up, and it's a joke, and we move on." That sort of like very subtle, low level, throwaway joke that doesn't mean anything. It means something. It means that her saying the minority representation in media and entertainment is not an important goal. It's not important.
But setting aside
matter.
her foibles, don't you think this might mark a recognition by Hollywood that there is a nation between Malibu and Manhattan?
Absolutely.
And they want to tap in to the Trumpsters, to the blue-collar folks who are going to watch network television.
You're totally right. Absolutely. And that is why the show is back, because we're living in Trump's America, and that's why the show is being successful, because we're living in Trump's America. And you look at the woman who comes in, who's like the liberal, shrill liberal caricature, who comes in, she's wearing the pink hat from the Women's March, and she's got the T-shirt on that says, I can't remember what it is, but there's a liberal slogan.
Woman.
Nasty woman. That's exactly which one it was. Nasty woman. And she's just sort of like turns everything into politics and jumps down Roseanne's throat. And Roseanne's going, "You know what? I'm just the good guy in this scenario, and you should all just really feel bad about it and about beating up on me for, I voted for Trump because he talked about jobs, and that's no." Okay, that is not how political conversations happen in this country. Both sides jump down each other's throats all the time, and there are good people on both sides who are the victim all the time and who have to put up with it.
Good people on both. You sound like Trump.
Oh,
good people on both sides.
Good people on both sides.
Good people on both sides.
I'm not going to lie. There are good Trump supporters out there. I'm not going to say
there are some good Trump supporters out there.
There are a few, right? Absolutely.
Some of them are good ones, I hear.
But to have the only liberal character be this shrill caricature, and the only Trump supporter who said she voted for Trump be the hero of the show, it's painting a one-sided photo, a picture of it.
I'm predicting more shows.
They renewed it. ABC
Roseanne.
Renewed it. It's a 7. From what I understand, it was 7. It's a limited run this year, like 7 episodes, and
it's
they renewed
going to be back.
They renewed it for next year.
I mean, when it's this successful and there's so much buzz about it, even if people aren't watching the actual show, they're talking about it on social media and the TV. They're gonna renew it for sure.
And they did.
Yeah,
they renewed it for next year. Okay, good for them.
Yeah. So let's talk comfort dogs. We've talked on this show in the past.
Roseanne.
Yes, nice segue.
Yeah,
we talked on the show about the wacky. They actually had a miniature horse that the network could not say no to. Right. So the miniature horse is in coach. Unfortunately, he's so big he wouldn't fit into coach, so they put him into first class, and pretty soon the aisle in first class became a poop slip and slide. Can you imagine paying a little extra for that first class ticket? And what do you see? But the airlines are stuck, because if they say no and they lose in court, they lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. But here's a new development, guys. Comfort dogs in court. Prosecution attorneys are saying to judges, it's really stressful for folks who have been victims of crime to show up and testify. We want them to be able to bring their comfort dogs. And the defense lawyers are going nuts, because maybe you'll have a child victim, you'll have a sexual abuse victim, and they're sitting there petting Bowser, and the jurors fall in love with the dog and feel much more sympathy. So it's happening in 5 or 6 states around the country as an official rule. What do you guys think? If you were on the bench wearing your black robe, would you say, I think it's okay?
Except in the OJ case, where they could have brought in the Akita. Remember the Akita who was around for the murders and could have
recipient witness Akita.
Yeah, Mr. Akita. What was it like that evening?
It was a little rough. It was rough.
Dang it, you got there.
Everybody came to the same conclusion. So what do you think? No good.
I mean, look, I'm a defense lawyer. I would be greatly disadvantaged by that rule. I can absolutely see that sympathy for I'm not a criminal defense lawyer, but I could see that the plaintiff in this, the person who's actually filing the lawsuit, is much more sympathetic if she's there petting the dog. Now, if she's petting a cat like a Bond villain, it's a little different. But if your blood coming out of it,
Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil, exactly. The hairless cat.
But the that is a major strategic advantage, and it could easily be abused. But on the other side of things, And I don't love the horse on the plane. Obviously, that's ridiculous. But on the other half of things, I got to say, comfort animals are a real thing.
I think it's a crock, though, because of the context. Cross-examination, they say, is the greatest engine for the discovery of truth ever invented.
Yep.
And for you to blunt the effect of cross-examination by having the jury kind of like the dog and the situation feel sorry or sorrier, I just don't think that's fair.
It's true.
Let them have the dogs. Actually, one of the judges said, I'm going to let them spend as much time as they want with the dog outside of the courtroom, but when they're in front of the jury, it's a little bit different.
Makes sense.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about gay conversion in Malaysia. Rather controversial on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hi, everyone. This is Fred Dreyer with some breaking news. My new movie, Highway 395, has just been released. Highway 395 is my latest movie and is now available for all of my friends and listeners to own. Highway 395 is a classic modern-day Western thriller. Action, romance, and the frontier spirit. It's all there in my new movie, Highway 395. Now, here's the best part. You can own this movie tonight by going to my brand new website, freddryer.co. Head to my website now at freddryer.co and check out the trailer. Then order the movie for a great night of entertainment. And while you're at freddryer.co, check out the memorabilia and my career highlights. But don't forget to order my new action thriller movie, Highway 395. So head over to freddryer.co. That's freddryer.co.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante to see memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. The Art of the Great Masters in an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old, Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, the romance of Romeo and Juliet. Find our mystical Room of the Moon, and don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, and make all of our sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. Pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, all you can eat, just $21.95. And Angelo's and Vinci's has been named the best Italian restaurant in Orange County 2 years in a row, and our owner has been named Restaurateur of the Year. Angelo's and Vinci's, Fullerton, California, 714-879-4022 or angelosandvinci's.com.
From traditional Hawaiian weddings and vow renewals to your own unique ceremony, find out why Ka'anapali Weddings is the perfect place to say, I do. Create the memory that will last a lifetime at the place you and your family know and love, Ka'anapali Beach Hotel. Imagine yourself and your loved one just steps away from world-famous Ka'anapali Beach in one of many wedding venues to choose from, including oceanside lawns, tropical gardens, or indoor banquet rooms. With your choice of catering, bar, floral, and musical options, you can make your special day customized just for you. Their wedding specialist will help you plan your dream wedding today. For more information, visit ka'anapaliweddings.com or call 661-0011. Ka'anapali Weddings, the perfect place to say, I do.
Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel. You get what you need.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show.
How much time we got? Yeah.
With
We're
our
back.
co-host,
Okay.
Ken Jeffries, who's very into time enough at last. And our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes. You guys are Twilight Zone fanatics. You know what episode I refer to when I say time enough at last?
Of course.
What do you remember about that?
The nerdy guy who always just wants to spend his time alone with his books, and he's beset upon by other humans and interactions with them. And then he's hides in the vault of the bank, I guess, at lunch. And the nuclear bombs all drop, and everybody's dead. And then he walks outside and isn't irradiated, I guess. And he realizes he's got time enough at last. He can finally be undisturbed. And then the glasses drop from his face and smash on the ground, and he realizes, I desperately need ophthalmologists. They're an integral part of my society.
Now we need Hot Tub Time Machine to go back and say spoiler alert, because just gave
Spoilers.
and Ken Jeffries,
Is there
you're
a
a fan.
statute
You
of
knew
limitations
that.
on
You
spoilers?
knew
Yeah,
which episode
I saw
we
the
were
ending of
talking
that one. I remember that, but I thought he was looking for watches.
You
or-
should
it was
see
on
the
roof of
beginning and middle,
whatever,
too.
Whatever it was. Yeah, the beginning. I remember the earwig.
Yeah, I think there's
The
a
earwig
statute of
story.
limitations on spoilers, and if it's black and white, it's outside the statute of limitations. Spoiler alert, the end of the Bible, Jesus dies.
So, guys, before we get to the Malaysian gay conversion
I've heard
issue,
that story. I can't remember where.
I wanted to give you my
kind of the beginning, actually.
My pet peeve of the week, and you're welcome to have competing pet peeves, but I think mine's pretty good. Okay. I was calling a company, and they say, please listen carefully because our menu has changed. And I'm thinking to myself, that's interesting. Every single company I've called for the last 30 years said exactly the same thing, that recently their freaking menu has changed, so I have to listen carefully. I'm tired of being told a big lie. I hope that they will just stop lying. Fine, if they recently changed their menu, let them say that. That's my pet peeve.
We have not changed our menu in 35 years.
Yeah, I'd like
you
to
don't have to listen at all.
Connor, you've got a pet peeve, something that's been bothering you lately?
Yeah, mine's pretty much a millennial-specific pet peeve. I don't know how much you guys are bothered by it, but I say when I get in, I won't say a taxi anymore, but I get in a rideshare. I get in a Lyft or an Uber.
Nobody takes taxis anymore.
They don't exist.
Except Harry Chapin.
If I get in, some people, all my friends, all my millennial friends go, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want the driver to say anything. Oh, don't be a jerk. I want to have a conversation with this person. It's fun. I want to interact with them. What pisses me off is when I get in and the rideshare driver starts having a conversation with me, and then they inevitably launch into, man, the guy before you was so annoying. He wouldn't talk to me at all. He was, or he blabbed on and on about his own problems.
He's going to get a 1 from you.
And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, that's nice. This guy is going to tear me a new one to the guy after me, and no matter what I say, this guy hates me.
So you put a recording device in the car and you retrieved it later?
It is annoying to me when Uber drivers just assume that you're okay with talking. I don't mind chatting, but when they're sort of insistent about it, maybe if you put your iPhone up to your ear and you, excuse me, what's that? An emergency that I have to think about in solitude and quiet for the next 15 minutes? Well, okay, if it's urgent. I don't know.
Mr. President.
What about you, Ken?
I've never taken an Uber, and I don't. So I don't
try
know.
it. It's
You've
fun.
never taken an Uber?
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's never taken an Uber.
You've never taken an Uber?
But I have taken a taxi in my life.
How do you get places drunk?
Well, I do something called driving.
Yeah, that sounds like a confession to me. So, okay, but what about a pet peeve, Ken? Anything
a pet peeve, it does relate to, and I just thought of this about a minute or so ago.
Sure.
It showed you how much prep I do in this show. For this show, but no, you talked about our menu item options have changed, and so on.
Very irritating.
Well, what about the one where you're constantly on hold, and yet the machine will come on and say, "We value your,
That's right. That's annoying too.
The next available person. I know what hold is.
Plus, what irritates me on a related note there, I remember 20 years ago when BlackBerrys were just starting, and I would be on the helpline with BlackBerry a lot, and they had the same cheesy jazz music then that they use now. I mean, somebody got rich, like Paul Anka with the Tonight Show theme. He gets a check every month. Somebody made a lot of money. I wish they would put Kelly Clarkson, just to pick somebody at random.
Like one of the masters, right? A classic.
Well, good pet peeves, guys. I think mine was the best.
Obviously,
but that's I'm just biased.
I would tell you that, but my menu has changed during the
So we reported a few weeks ago about how in Malaysia they really are trying to convert gays, and there's something about gaydom in Malaysia. They have a university holding a contest to convert gay students. Have you heard about this? No. It's organized supposedly by the students. There's a forum to help LGBTQ students who have disorders in sexual orientation return to their natural instincts.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Do you have any explanation
did
for
Mike
why
Pence
Malaysia
bring over
is
a bunch
doing
of
this?
people?
Yeah, I'll tell you the explanation.
Okay.
The explanation is colonialism. Colonialism has gone in there and shoved, in this case, religiosity of multiple ways, down people's throats, and when you have done that for...
Was it Sharia law? It's Islam?
Yeah, well, it's multiple. There's multiple. Malaysia is the largest Muslim country in the world. Maybe Indonesia is. Regardless, that is a result of invaders coming in and shoving something down people's throats and using it as a mechanism of oppression, and it's still used as a mechanism of oppression now, and it's, frankly, religion's fault.
I knew Connor would have the explanation for why that
Well, he's
happened.
still hopped up, isn't he?
Hey, when we come back,
take more weeks off.
Bill
and then come back
Cosby
again.
2.0 on the Royal Oak Show. Stay with
We'll be
us.
back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hey Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurants.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
Hi, friends. This is Larry Manetti. Go to LarryManetti.com to get my book, Aloha Magnum. You'll read all about the wonderful guest stars like Carol Burnett, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and many, many more. There is an episode guide and my favorite recipes that I really cook at home. I will include a free signed photo with every book. Get Aloha Magnum at LarryManetti.com. Order now. Aloha.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. Call right now. That's 800-485-8803.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host, Ken Jeffries.
We got the beat.
Absolutely.
We got the beat, baby.
And our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes. This is the Go-Go's.
Yeah.
And they went.
And, of course, the lead singer,
Belinda Carlisle.
I would not have been able to guess that. But I would have gotten They Got the Beat. Right? This is They Got the Beat.
Former girlfriend of
I got Rolling Stones
Dodger
from the last one.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. You're on a roll.
All right, who was the Mike Marshall? The old
Mike Marshall.
Second Mike.
Was,
there were two Mike Marshalls. Well, anyway, long story.
So we're going to talk about Bill Cosby, but I want to call an audible here just to get a little Trumpster issue in here on Stormy Daniels. Interesting development this week, guys. I mean, it continues to grind through. Is it going to be a secret arbitration? Is Trump going to be able to win his motion or his lawyer's motion to move the case, having been removed from state court to federal court? Now they want to dismiss the federal court suit and put it into arbitration. But Trump today said, while he's on Air Force One answering questions, "Oh, Mr. President, did you know about the $130,000? And he says, no, I didn't. Do you think that maybe will hurt his case? Because, I mean, if he didn't know about it. Now, admittedly, the agreement that was signed, there was a line for, a fake name, and his lawyer signed it. And I guess there was a line for him to sign, and he didn't do it. And that's one of Stormy's arguments. But is it going to undermine his argument that, hey, she got her 130 and she promised silence, and she said if there's a kerfuffle, it's got to be in secret arbitration? Does it hurt that argument for him to say, I didn't even know that the money was being paid?
It absolutely does, because it hurts the enforceability of the agreement as a whole, given that the agent, the lawyer, Michael Cohen, is acting without the principal, the boss, the client, Trump. If the agent acts without authority from the principal, then you can't enforce the contract that the agent is bound to. And usually that's the principal, Trump, saying, I don't want to be bound by this
at all.
So
therefore there's no a gag order at all?
There may not be. That's the argument.
No gag order at all?
The weird wrinkle is that usually the way that these are voided, these contracts are voided, is that the principal, the person who didn't know about the contract, is saying, my lawyer signed something. I didn't read it. I didn't know about it. Get me out. Get me out. Trump is saying, get me in. Trump is saying, I want to be bound by this thing that I didn't know about.
Right.
I want her to be bound.
You can't have it both ways.
That's what's weird about it.
You may be right, but I'm going to go on record. Now I'm going to predict Federal Judge James Otero is going to grant the motion to compel secret arbitration. Retired Superior Court Judge Jacqueline O'Connor is handling it, and we'll see. It's going to take a few months for it to get sorted out.
Trump will sort of get away with it, for lack of a better term.
Well, he or his people did give her $130,000. She probably bought a lot of nice things with the $130,000. She promised to clam up, and she's not clamming up. So let's turn to Cosby. So Bill Cosby's second trial started this week, and interesting, a lot of sort of pros and cons here. The judge was very clear, quizzing everybody, the potential jurors. Do you know about this Me Too movement? And guess what? Out of the 120 jurors he quizzed, 119 knew. One guy had never heard of the Me Too movement. Sorry, Judge, I don't know. I guess I haven't been reading the news very much lately.
Under an actual rock.
Yeah, so he didn't know about it, but the judge wanted to make sure, in fairness to Cosby, that a tsunami of Me Too sentiment didn't result in the conviction. The judge, interestingly, has approved testimony by a lady named Marguerite Jackson. Now, Marguerite Jackson was a pal of Andrea Constant, the accuser against Cosby, at Temple. She was a fellow college employee, and she's going to testify that Andrea and she are sitting around having Starbucks there on campus when Andrea said, guess what? I am going to make a lot of money by falsely claiming I was molested by a famous person. What do you think about that, Marguerite? Now, people can say Marguerite lied. Maybe she doesn't like Andrea. She's got some sort of bias. She was misunderstood. But to me, that's going to be pretty explosive, and it was not allowed in the first trial.
Because it was hearsay.
Yeah, double hearsay, whatever.
So she would have been a defense?
Absolutely, and the judge wouldn't allow her, but now the judge is going to allow her in. Now, on the one hand, 55 women have said, he plied me with quaaludes, sexually abused me, and the jury's got to kind of know about that, even if they don't all testify. The other wild card is one accuser, in addition to Andrea Constant, was allowed to testify in the first trial. Now, 5, maybe 10 will be allowed to testify. So you balance it. What about Marguerite saying, this lady is a liar and a cheater, and you got all these women in general, and these 5 to 10 women that the jurors are going to see. So you're going to go out on a limb and predict Cosby's fate in 2.0?
I mean, it's pretty hard to predict the fate, but that is an extremely damning piece of evidence. And if it comes in because it comes in not for the truth, as that's the restriction on hearsay, right? Hearsay can often come in as long as it's not for the truth of the matter asserted in the statement. If I say to you, I robbed a bank, and you want to assert that I did rob the bank, you can't do that because it's hearsay through you. You'd have to get me to testify as to whether I said that, right? We can't have you say, oh, Connor told me that, because then the jury can't see your face and judge you and decide, oh, is he lying? Is he telling the truth? That sort of thing. The legitimate answer to if we were to ask you questions about that, would be, well, I don't know if he's lying. I don't know if he told me the truth. He just told me.
So now couple that credibility issue, though, with the other double whammy aspect of the double whammy against Andrea Constant, namely, after the incident that she claims occurred where he gave her the Quaaludes and she wakes up and he's obviously been sexually abusing her, she nonetheless continues to act in a friendly manner toward him. She follows him to a comedy concert up in Toronto, takes a gift for him, takes her parents to see it, asks him for tickets to concerts, and psychologists will say that's somehow how victims behave. They have to, reconcile what happened with their life. But isn't that also going to be something that's going to make it hard for all 12 jurors to go against him?
Yeah. And if you were handling it, what would you do?
You dealt with it very well. You got to get experts in there to talk about the psychology of what happens when you're a victim, how you deal with it, how you justify it, how you tell yourself it didn't happen, and how it didn't happen the way that you thought it happened, because it would be really psychologically damaging for you to accept that it happened that way. So a lot of victims will act completely out of character with the idea that they were a victim in this scenario because they're trying to justify it themselves. In denial, exactly. And that is how you've got to focus on it. She's a victim. She's coping with it in multiple different ways, and this is totally possible. There are lots of doctors and experts.
That, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's really hard because the burden is suddenly magically on you to prove why you did what you did when you really are not supposed to be there for that. You're supposed to get up there, tell your testimony, and be done, right? And while you, of course, have the burden as the person bringing the lawsuit, you want to tell your story and have the jury judge your story. All these extra facts that you've got to backtrack and explain, but I did this because, it puts you in a really, really bad spot. It's possible, but it's tough.
So the defense hopes to be able to respond to the psychological testimony by essentially saying, that's a lot of psychobabble. We love Bill Cosby. Vote for Bill.
Yeah, it is.
There are a couple of other things that are good for Bill in this trial. Number one, the judge is apparently going to allow evidence of the amount of money that Andrea Constant got in her civil settlement, in her suit against Bill Cosby, and that'll sort of dovetail with Marguerite Jackson's testimony about she said she was going to make a bunch of money by making up a lie about a celebrity.
Why is that relevant?
Right, that's the question.
Motivation, incentive by her to exaggerate or lie. It wasn't in the first trial, so you're raising a good point. Maybe the judge didn't think it was relevant. He's making some different decisions.
So this other woman has given sworn testimony someplace now that this conversation took place.
Right. And the other thing that may be good for Cosby is it looks like the judge, unlike the first trial, is not going to allow in his own, Bill's deposition testimony about how, back in the 70s, I did use Quaaludes with women that I wanted to have sex with. He didn't admit raping them. He didn't admit having sex with them while they were unconscious, but he did say sort of like in the 50s when guys would give a martini to a gal hoping that they would soften her up and they'd end up having sex. He said that's how he used Quaaludes. That testimony, the judge apparently feels might be too prejudicial against Bill Cosby. And so it's almost like maybe the judge is bending over backwards to help Cosby because of the business about his wife. Connor, I don't know if you heard about this, but the judge is married to a lady who provides counseling to sexual abuse victims. And so the defense goes nuts and when they learn this and say, oh, Your Honor, you're defending your wife, and this is exactly the kind of thing your wife is doing. She's going to be sympathetic to Cosby. You're probably going to be sympathetic. And the judge got kind of emotional. He was defending his wife, defending himself, and he stuck on the case. So who knows what's going on?
He can recuse himself, right?
He could,
He could, and the defense wanted him to because they didn't think they were going to get very good rulings out of him.
But now
he could bend
that's
over
the thing.
backwards
When
the other way.
when you point out that somebody could be potentially biased, like judge, it could easily cause them to, my dad said, bend way over backwards to give them every possible piece of latitude.
Make it seem fair.
And that's the thing. I mean, you're going to see it's an amazing opportunity that doesn't come up very often to see a retrial like this where two different judges and then two different juries too deal with the same set of facts and the same set of evidence, and you'll see how much power and control a judge has over how a case proceeds and how the trial proceeds and how justice can be meted out in a very different way if your judge is biased or not. I mean, a lot of people, you like to sit back and say our society is 100% fair and the process is so thorough and every defendant gets his fair shake. And I'll tell you what, just from reading the history books and reading the textbooks and then from personal experience, justice comes in many forms, and
So-
bias exists everywhere,
So
and
when
it
I-
don't ain't fair.
When I think of Bill Cosby, I think of virtual reality headsets.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
How's that for a segue? Or it was a bad segue. But
By the way, it could set up the reboot of the Cosby Show again. We could go
that's
back to
true.
Roseanne.
It's true. So I wanted to ask our millennial correspondent, because he probably knows the most on the panel here, about virtual reality headsets. I've never had one on. You know, you read about it, you put it on, and suddenly you're in 13th century England or something, or 28th century outer space. There's this story that the developers of a virtual reality headset, they have been told that owners have to keep them in locked safes. Now, to me, that sounds a little weird and fishy. I remember there was a movie years ago, or movies would come out, and the producers would say, no one will be seated in the last 15 minutes of the show because of the intensity.
Hitchcock always did that.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
marketing thing. Yeah.
To me, this sounds like a marketing thing. Oh, we'll sell you a helmet, but you have to lock it up. What's going on? It sounds like a crock to me.
Yeah, they're called developer kits or dev kits. These are public release versions of the technology that are sent to developers, that are used by developers to work on the hardware and create software for it. Because when a headset hits the market, if you say, look at my cool virtual reality headset, what can I do with it? Can I watch movies on it? Can I play games on it? No, it's just out. People have to make software for it. That's terrible. We don't want that. So you have to give it to developers ahead of time. And they've got to keep it under lock and key. But it is theater. Absolutely. Keep it in a locked safe. I mean, if you take proper precautions, if you keep it in your locked offices and only your software developers can work with it, that's going to be enough. Now, there is a lot of competition in this space. Virtual reality by a lot of people is seen as the next thing, the next hot thing, the future of entertainment. And there are serious hurdles to overcome that virtual reality hardware people are competing like crazy to try and solve. The biggest ones are, how do people get in this thing and enjoy themselves? A lot of people have serious physical discomfort from virtual reality. They put on the headset and in the game or video or whatever, the experience you're having, you are stationary in real life, but I want to walk over there. So sort of you make a walking motion.
So you feel queasy.
A lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people, me included, you put on the virtual headset and you start to fake walk forward, and your character actually walks forward.
Well, just
start to vomit out every orifice on your body.
Get a barf bag.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
They ought to come with a side dosage of Dramamine.
They absolutely. And so these hardware developers have to find ways to recreate the feeling of physical motion for your body, like with feedback or vibration or something, or weight of the object.
Electrodes on your head, in your brain.
They shock you.
To counteract this feeling of, then you have to go to a neuroscientist to figure it out.
If you could figure that out, you would be a billionaire.
All right,
because
Connor,
that is the burden that these hardware people have to solve.
Next week, if you could bring 3 helmets, all 3 of us will
Yeah.
wear them during the show.
We'll
see.
the show in virtual
We'll
reality.
see who throws up first.
I'm in.
Okay.
That's great.
So the phrase "bro," remember, "Don't tase me, bro." And then there's bromance. There's a new version, and it's called a-bro-priate. And I realize we've got nothing but males here on the panel.
That's true.
On the show, but there's a thing. Apparently, males in business meetings take credit for restating an idea previously raised by a woman in the same meeting. That's called a bro-priate.
Bro-priation.
Yeah. Is this a thing? Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, I have been practicing law for a few decades with men and with women, and with a lot of meetings, a lot of exchange, frank and candid ideas. I've never seen a guy steal an idea that I'd heard expressed by a woman. Have you guys ever seen bro-priation?
I've seen it. Absolutely.
You've been in different meetings. So tell me the context.
Okay, so the context for me, now I also practice law, but you don't get that many big meetings with 20 people all sitting around like it's a marketing meeting or something like that. Law is different. It's pretty solitary and desperately lonely, etc. But especially in school, everything from a study group all the way up through any meeting where you're doing a group project, it is very, very common that people are just sitting around, waiting their turn to speak instead of listening. But they're not tuned out completely. So what happens is people are basically tuned out, not paying attention, and especially if a woman is talking, they're going, okay, I'm going to run this conversation. I'm going to get back in the driver's seat and run this conversation as soon as she's done talking. And then as soon as she's done talking, they go, oh, yeah, and my idea is, and then they start repeating the same thing that she just said. And you can just see the woman's face like, I just freaking said that.
I can see how perhaps there would be some sexism where guys would want to push their conversational weight around and and be disrespectful and interrupt. As a matter of fact, there's man-terruption. Man-terruption is the thing.
Ask
but
my
in
wife
terms
about
of
that,
appropriating an idea, I can honestly tell you I've never seen anything that remotely sounded like that. And it would be so obvious to me that you're all in the same meeting for 5, 10, 30, whatever minutes, for a guy to say, well, I was thinking we really ought to build the Panama Canal.
Right.
If Dolores has just suggested we should build the Panama Canal 10 minutes earlier, wouldn't he be seen as an idiot by everybody?
That is a commendable thing that you and yours are respectable in that way and are.
But I'm just saying I haven't seen anybody else. I've been in meetings with a lot of sexist pigs, I'm sure.
Sure.
But bro-priation?
Allegedly.
I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, and I'm sure it doesn't happen in every walk of life and in every scenario, and maybe it doesn't even happen in the majority of scenarios, but it doesn't have to be as explicit as completely stealing a whole idea. But if you're developing an idea together, who gets credit for the ultimate conclusion of what you decide to go forward and do? It might be the guy who's the loudest in the room.
All right, so you're a feminist. That's fine.
Yeah.
What about manspreading? Is manspreading a thing? Women complain that guys, they sit on the subway and so on, and their legs are spread wide. It's like, okay, babe, I've got the control of this entire seat.
It is in New York. In New York, it is.
I've never seen it.
I'm not going to lie to you.
You guys have seen manspreading?
I've seen it. I've done it.
Are you guilty? What do you mean you've done it? You're
I like
confessing on the air?
Of course, I like the manspreader.
It got
me on the D train in New York to the Bronx.
You think people have been boycotting Laura Ingraham? This show is history.
Done.
Every feminist in the country is going to boycott this show because of Ken Jeffries' confession.
The man spreader.
Going back, hot tub, time machine.
With the Royal Oak Show. Do you like burgers? Then experience the ultimate famous 50-50 burger at Slater's 50-50 in Pasadena, California. 50% ground beef and 50% ground bacon. Stop by at 61 North Raymond Avenue in Pasadena and visit Slater's 50-50. Experience our full bar with craft beer and more. Play in our cool new game room. View the best sports in our Slater's 50-50 TV lounge. Try our Slater's 50-50 burgers by design too, and all of our incredible food, including our Sunday Bloody Mary brunch. Check out our VIP event space for private dining and ask about our chef-inspired catering company with a completely scratch kitchen-based service. It's all at Slater's 50-50 under new management at 61 North Raymond in Pasadena. Call 626-765-9700. 626-765-9700. Call now, 626-765-9700.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. Call right now. That's 800-485-8803.
Enjoy Tiki Live, the best cable alternative choice today, with hundreds of premium live TV programming, including ESPN, CNN, Fox News, Disney, AMC, Bravo, XF, OWN, and CRN Talk. Plus no contracts and low month-to-month service. Tiki Live, servicing North America, including the Caribbean. To get started, visit TikiLive.com to order hundreds of channels, including CRN Talk, at a fraction of what you're paying today. Visit TikiLive.com. That's TikiLive.com. Welcome
back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes. So this is our final famed D Block, final segment.
The D Block.
A couple of items of business, plus a few more stories. The items are Moron of the Week, second candidate, and a special treat. We're going to vote on the Moron of the Quarter. And then we'll get to our hot tub time machine, the most famous political speech in the history of the world. So, Moron of the Week. Our first candidate, you'll recall, was the Starbucks fat shamer. The guy who said, I hope that fat B word doesn't eat all the cupcakes.
And he missed out on his cupcakes.
And she bought them all and deprived him of the joy of eating the cupcakes. So our second candidate is a gal who seems like a little too harsh on her kids. She wanted them to go to Easter Sunday church service. And you know how kids can be getting out of bed.
We don't want to go.
She tased them. Sharon Dobbins, age 40 of Phoenix, she's booked into jail on felony child abuse charge. She tased her 16-year-old son's left leg. Damn it, he just wouldn't get up for church.
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, no, I didn't really. I only sparked the taser. Now, I'm not sure what sparking means. Does that mean like just sort of clicking it?
I don't know. Like in a barbecue on an igniter?
I guess. Why not? Yeah. So she appears in court.
Tased her kid.
She noted for the judge both of her sons are on probation, and the one she sparked has an ankle bracelet on. And, of course, that could maybe be a fatal electrocution thing. All right,
Maybe
so this is our...
Maybe she wanted to spark interest in him going to church.
I like it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Spark
So
interest.
that's our second Moron of the Week candidate. So what do you like, guys? The tasing mom, or do you like the fat-shaming Starbucks of sexist pig?
Oh, I mean, the tasing mom is, I think, a whole new level.
The tasing mom is
This is like, I mean, number
Hands
one
down.
example.
Hands down.
We got to get rid of guns out of our lives. If this woman is given a taser, she tased her own son. If this woman had a gun in the house, she absolutely would have shot this guy.
Yep.
This is like the idea that people just don't respect each other, and like parents especially don't respect their kids. They think they just, I'll just beat my kid into submission. I think we're changing as a society and moving forward, but there's just so many holdouts. It's just embarrassing that we're on the same planet with this woman.
Well, guys, I agree. So it's unanimous. Let me give you the four candidates for the Moron of the Quarter, first quarter 2018. So we have the one that we voted on today, the tasing mom. Number two, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who said, if you've got severe pain, don't take medical marijuana, take aspirin and tough it out. All right, so that's number two is Jeff Sessions. The third candidate, the drunk guy in West Virginia, who said, take me home to the Uber driver. Problem is he was so drunk he didn't realize home was $1,700 away in New Jersey. So he had a ride from West Virginia to New Jersey. So that's candidate
great.
number three.
Take me home.
Fourth and final candidate for Moron of the Quarter, the Oakland, California coffee shop owner who refused to serve cops because he felt the cops made his customers uncomfortable. Apparently, his customers were all escapees from San Quentin. I'm not sure about that.
Illegal.
Hey,
illegal.
so cops make me uncomfortable.
We got tasing mom. We got Attorney General Jeff Sessions. We got the drunk guy in West Virginia, and we got the Oakland coffee shop owner. So, what would your vote be for the Moron of the Quarter?
As long as you're thinking, I'll say it's the drunk guy in the Uber with that to me is. Sessions would be
moronic. Yeah, and that's mine's Sessions. I cast my ballot for the Keebler elf Jeff Sessions. This guy, okay, I get that one comment wasn't that actively stupid. The idea that there are other medicines available for people who are in pain, but to say that people who have massive chronic pain that don't have
I agree with you, Con. I'm going to go with you. We're going to go with Jeff Sessions. He is our winner of the first quarter.
Couldn't you say aspirin would be a sanctuary medicine?
Good point. Jose, please play our hot tub time machine cut.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed.
I bet you guys can guess.
Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah.
This is an amazing speech. I have read that it was done spontaneously. I don't believe that.
I can't
because
imagine.
It is one of the most beautifully crafted speeches in history. Such a pivotal moment in our American history. Martin Luther King assassinated 50 years ago this week, but he left behind an amazing legacy. Hey, folks, thanks for joining the Royal Oak Show. We'll see you next week.
Which was most appropriate because that was your theme. Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound?
Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show, all in true CRN HD audio. Sports, business, travel, food, wine, politics, there is something for everyone, and it's all available in CRN High Definition Sound. Log on to www.crntalk for listings and information on all your favorite shows. That's www.crntalk.com.
The radio channels. The radio channels. CRN.
It's time now for the polka part.